Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Vashishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Mathasya Shishyam Shri Shankaracharya Mathasya Padmapadam cha Hastamalakam cha Shishyam Tam Trotakam Vartika Manyad Asmad Gurun Santatamanatosmi Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. We are in our study of Mandukya Upanishad Karikas in Advaita Prakaranam. If we don't have the necessary background to study Advaita Prakaranam or even Mandukya, it does become a little difficult. It does become a little challenging. But that doesn't mean that we cannot study this Upanishad. We can study this Upanishad and grace of Bhagavan will flow and we will be able to understand. We have been studying this all because of the seventh mantra of the proper Upanishad. Nanta prajnam na bahish prajnam no na prajnam na prajnam na prajnana ghanam na prajnam na prajnam. This is one part of the mantra which is saying that consciousness is not an experience, it is awareness principle that is to be got from that portion of the mantra. The second half of the mantra, adrushtam, avyavaharyam, agrahyam, alakshanam, achintyam, avyapadeshyam, ekatma pratyayasaram, prapanchopashamam, shantam, shivam, advaitam, chaturtham manyante sa atma savigneyaha. Savigneyaha, this is to be known. And what is this atma to be known? That this atma is not an object. First part of the mantra says that the atma is the very subject, but the subject is not an experience. The subject is
presence. It is awareness. We cannot even call it awareness as a verb, that it awares the world of objects, because the second half of the mantra comes and says that it is also not an objective reality, that it is not an object, nor is there any other object other than the self. The self alone is, and that is established by saying prapanchopashamam. The world of pluralistic reality does not exist. In this Atma is complete cessation of all types of manifestation. There is absolutely no creation. This word was taken in the second chapter of Gaudapadacharya ji's Karika, which is called Vaitatya Prakaranam. This world is an illusion. The world has no reality in itself. The world is an appearance. That was established in the second chapter. Now we are in the third chapter, and the third chapter is over here saying that it is Advaitam, Prapanchopashamam. Then it is saying Shantam. It is absolute silence beyond any type of uh, modification of sound, anything. Shantam, absolute still silence, stillness. Shivam, it is auspicious. Shantam, Shivam. Advaitam, it is non-dual. And that is what we are discussing over here. And that non-dual is Turiyam, the fourth. So in the Karikas, we reached up to the Karika number 8 in the third section of Advaita Prakaranam. So in these Karikas, what is said is that let the absolute Atma be the space, and the pot maker, when he makes the pot, there is as though the pot space, and the pot space was over here referred to as the jiva, but there is no creation of the jiva. It is as though the jiva is created, an illusion as though is created when the pot is made. And that is what has been discussed, that Gatadivat Sangi Jata Ve Tarnidarshanam. This is in Karika number 3. Akash like Atma manifests in the form of the separative egos, may be compared to the pot space. Again, as the pot space is said to be produced from the total space, so gross forms are said to be created from the reality. This is the illustration for the manifested world, that the jivas are as though created. There is no creation of jiva. Brahman is not a cause of creating jivas. If Brahman, there is an ulterior motive behind Brahman to create creation, that means that he had Brahman, I'm saying he, but Brahman had some motive behind it, but there is absolutely no creation, and that is referred to over here as Advaitam. So घटादि प्रलीनेषु घटाकाशोदयस्तथा आकाशे संप्रलीयन्ते तद्वज्जीवा इहात्मनि. That just as when the pots are broken, the pot space etc. gets merged. with the supreme Akash. Similarly, the separate egos merge with the Akash. But again, I talked about the limitations of language, that there is a merging. So there is actually no merging. Merging suggests that there is a verb, that there is a dissolving, like sugar dissolved into the water, sugar dissolved into tea or coffee or something. So like this, there is no merging, there is no mixing, because the space is one. There were no two spaces to begin with. The space is one, and I have gone at great. So what I was saying, we are going through some technical difficulties. If you're hearing me, can you please let me know if you can hear me? Can you type? Are you able to see me? Okay. Okay. So, what I was saying is, in Karika number 6, Rupa Karya Samakhyasya Vidyante Tatra Tatra Vai Akashasya na Bhedosti Tadvad Jiveshu Nirnayaha. So, what is talked about over here is, in form, function, and name, though there can be differences here and there, yet there is no differences in the space, which is one without the second. The space element, the space is one non-dual existence. That one non-dual space is, and the part which has the form, the part which has the name, the part which has um, nama, rupa, akar, the name, the form, the qualities, whatnot, it differs in function, but the space within is not at all affected by it, and that is what is mentioned over here. So see, the mistake that we make is, in this example, what is mentioned is, the mistake that we make is, we think the pot space is created. That is where our problem is. And because we give reality to the creation of the space, we say that the jiva is created. And whenever you say jiva is created, all the problems of jivas come along with the idea that the jiva is created. Oh, I am created. Oh, I have fortune. Oh, I don't have fortune. I have bhagya. I don't have bhagya. All this is there. I am a poor, unfortunate soul. I am an educated soul. I am an uneducated soul. All this is based upon the pot. It has nothing to do with the space within. The Atma is Atma. There is nothing different about this space within, and the space without. There is only space. So the mistake is that the space is created. That is our problem. And because space is created, now along with that comes all the problems of, along with that comes all the problems of the imagined space, small space, educated space, uneducated space, dirty space, space with fortune, space without fortune. All these gamut of problems start because of that. So now we have to, over here, we have to assimilate and understand and learn from this idea what is Atma. And Gaudapada Charya ji is revealing to us that this Atma, Jivatma, has never ever been created. This, from this example, what we have to learn is that the Jiva has never been created. That the Jiva always has been Paramatma. And because Jiva is not created, and because Jiva has always been Paramatma, we have now superimposed upon this Brahman, that he has created the world, and he has created as part of the world me, and all the problems start over there. So we saw this at length. So Jiva is produced out of Paramatma. Again, in this seventh Karika, he's refuting that Nakashasya Gatakasho Vikara Avayov Yatha Naiva Atmana Sada Jivaha Vikara Avayov Tatha. That there are two different standpoints he's negating. And one is that Vikar is Parinam. And the other one is Avayavav. Avayavav, over here, Avayavaha is part. That the pot space is part of the total space. And that the pot space has modified itself into pot space from the great space. So he's refuting that this pot space is Jiva, is produced out of Paramatma, is the first one when he says Vikar. It is produced, it is modified, just like the yogurt has been produced out of milk. So milk modified itself to become yogurt. And in that modification, if let's say Brahman modified itself into Jiva, Brahman would lose the status of Brahman. Absolute nature would not be there. Absolute would be challenged. So there is no such thing as, over here Gaudapada Charya ji is saying that there is no modification. The Atma has not modified itself into Jivatma. Atma is. Then the second one is the Jiva is part of the whole. If the Jiva is part of the whole, part necessarily cannot experience the wholeness. And that's the problem. So if Atma is infinitude, the Jiva will never ever feel infinite. Jiva's experience is finite. The Jiva remains finite. So the omniscient, omnipotence, omnipresence will be refuted of Brahman if a jiva is a part of the whole. Certainly, a part cannot be omnipresent. So, that is also refuted over here by Gaudapadacharya ji. So now it is saying, Gaudapadacharya ji in the eighth one is saying, Yatha bhavati balanam gaganam malinam malaihi tatha bhavatya abuddhanam atma api malinau yatha. Just like, balanam, these children, the ignorant children think that the space has become dirty. In the same way, the ignorant, abuddhanam, ignorant ones, they think that the Atma has become impure, that the Atma is dirty, that the Atma is not proper. So, this is where we left off. We have to continue from here on these technical difficulties. So now I'm going to have to move. You can see the router in the back. I'm just going to sit right next to the router, so doesn't create any more problems over here. So sorry about this technical difficulties. Anyway, so now we'll continue the last karika in this section. Gaudapadacharya ji from karika number 2 up to karika number 9, he refutes over here the creation of jiva. The jiva is not created. And he uses this example of the great space, and then the pot space is what he uses. So, Gaudapadacharya ji says negation of the existence of the world, negation of the origination of the world. I had talked about all these things, but Gaudapadacharya ji accepts the experience of this world and accepts the appearance of this world. Let us discuss this a little bit. The world appears in front of us, and there is an experience of this world as well. I go through joys, I go through sorrows. So the experience of the world is as though real to me. And the world appears in front of me. We find ourselves married, having children, going through the motions of life, have to work, have to get educated. All these things are undeniable experiences of our life. So Gaudapadacharya ji is not negating the experience that we are having of this world. He's not negating the appearance. It appears, and the appearance has an experience. He has no problem with that. The problem that Gaudapadacharya ji is raising in teaching the seventh mantra of the Upanishad, when it is saying prapanchopashamam, when it is said there is complete cessation of this world, what does that mean? At one hand, he says, at one hand, the Upanishad says that there is no creation, and yet there is an appearance. So how can these two be? Prapanchopashamam. There is no creation. Brahman has not created. And yet there is a experience of the world. There is an appearance, and the appearance is experience. So what Gaudapadacharya ji is saying is, he is negating the world. He's saying that negation of the existence of the world, and the negation of the existence of the world is in the understanding. You cannot remove the experience. You experience the world, but when we experience the world, we draw certain conclusions from our experience, that the world has joys, the world has sorrows, the world is good, the world is bad. All these things we conclude from our experience, and that creates a problem for us. So Gaudapadacharya ji is not refuting the appearance of the world, he's not refuting the experience of this world. What he's refuting is the what he's negating is the experience of the existence, the existence of this world is what he is negating. How? In our understanding, we experience it, but as we experience it, our knowledge tells us it is not. Now this requires Vedantic learning, without which we cannot negate. And thus the whole teaching of the great space and the part space is to understand Atma has not been created. Logically, he's using this example that there is no existence of the jiva. Try to understand. If not, it's okay. These are difficult topics. This is a very difficult concept. And he's also negating the origination of this world, that the world originated. So the negation of the existence of the world is Karika number 2 up to Karika number 9. He's using Jiva. The Jiva, the embodied soul, has never ever been created. In this pot space and the great space example. Okay, so that we have to meditate upon. With this negation of this Jiva Shrushti, the last Karika we will see. And what is the last Karika of the negation of the Jiva Shrushti? Karika number 9, it is said, Marane sambhave chaiva gatya gamanayorapi stito sarva sharireshu akashe na vilakshanaha. So over here, Marane sambhave chaiva. Marane, this death, sambhava, birth, cha eva gati agamanayoho api. Stito sarva sharireshu atma sarva sharireshu. This atma which is in all bodies. Remember, the atma is in all bodies because the body was created. Atma was never created. Like when the pot maker made the pot maker did not make the pot space. The pot maker only made the pot. Pot space was never made. And because pot space was never made, that pot space is the same as the great space, but because of the arrival of the pot, it is as though the pot space is created. So over here, maranam, the death of the pot, sambhava, the birth of the pot, gati agamana, the going of the pot, the coming of the pot, atma sarva sharireshu sthitah, that atma which is in all bodies, the arrival of the body, the going of the body, the arrival, the departure of the body, akashena avilakshanaha. Over here, this space which is non different from the great space. So this ends over here the discussion of the pot space and the great space, that the Atma has never been born and the Atma has never died. The Atma is not going, the Atma is not coming. The Atma ever, the Atma ever is. And thus Bhagavan Krishna says, na jayate mriyate va kadachit, that the Atma is not born, the Atma has not died. Nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyah ajah nitya shashvata ayam puranah na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The body, when it is broken, destroyed, Atma remains the way it is. Nothing happens to the Atma. The Atma remains ever, ever, ever divine and pure. This is what is explained over here. The appearance and the experience of the jiva is not negated. We experience the body, we experience our youth, the childhood, the youth, the old age. All that experience is there. Bhagavan Krishna also says the same thing. Experience of that is there, but the Atma has not grown old. The Atma is not a young Atma, a youth Atma, and the old Atma. That Atma has witnessed the growth of the body, but the Atma is ever vilakshana. It is different. It is ever different from this. So we have to over here understand Gaudapadacharya ji saying Brahman is Advaita, Brahman is Turiya, Brahman over here is the absolute, and this absolute has never ever taken birth, and the absolute can never ever take birth. But if at all we experience the world, the experience of this world is not negated, but the conclusions drawn from the experience of this world is what gets us into trouble in understanding of this Atma. Okay, so this is where we are. Now, I got some questions, emails from people. Swamiji, where is in this the karma, the karmic debt, the sanchit karma, the prarabdha karma? Where does the Atma go after the body dies? Are there heavens? And does that same jiva come back? So when that new pot is created, is it the same pot space? Now we have to understand that in the teaching of Vedanta, in the systematic learning of Vedanta, there is a growth pattern that is required to understand these teachings. And if we don't understand where the scripture is going, there will be utter confusion. So we start out with an ignorant man. The ignorant man looks at this world, the world appears, and he experiences this world. But he doesn't give any importance or, for that matter, reality to the truth which is beyond what he sees and experiences. Like an animal, khao piyo moj karo bas, eat, drink and be merry. This is the experience of an ignorant. Now, the ignorant person one day decides that somebody is in the temple who has arrived and they are talking on some Atma. So he goes to the temple. And for the first time, he hears that there is Bhagavan. And this idea that there is a God that rules over the universe has now entered in this ignorant man. And now this ignorant man is endowed with ignorance plus faith that something exists and that something is Bhagavan. And that Bhagavan is the ruler of the world. And because he's not just the ruler, but he also learns that Bhagavan is the creator of this world. And Bhagavan is the sustainer of this world. And he learns Bhagavan is the destroyer of this world. He learns that God is a creator, he sustains, and he dissolves the whole universe. And he has gained a greater appreciation of this world and Bhagavan after hearing that. So in his appearance, in this appearance of this world, he thinks, wow, God has created this. Wow, God is protecting. Wow, God is destroying. So he feels God has created him, God is protecting him, and God is going to destroy him. With this arrives the baggage that is necessary to understand the religion aspect of a theology. Necessarily, it has to arrive. And the person has to be then educated that how did God create? So then the Vedas say that the God created this world. First he created space, from space he created air, from air he created fire, from fire water, water earth, from earth different plants and herbs, from that he created beings, and from that he created man. So a story has to be given. And on God, there is a superimposed idea that he is the creator. And because he has created, he's the creator, he alone can protect. But if you don't go against the rules of creation, you will be punished. This also is brought upon by the karmas, the theory of karma. that if you don't do your job in protecting, then guess what? It is going to catch up to you. It will catch up to you, and you will have to go through some trouble. And this theory of karma now enters this man, and he says, oh my God, I better do my actions properly. This is the entry of dharma, righteousness, goodness, and the person follows the necessary due rules required to live a good, noble life. And the person lives a good, noble life. Now, as the person is living good, noble life, this his thinking changes. Earlier, he wanted things from God to make sure everything is okay, taken care of. Now, the person, like Bhagavan Krishna says to Arjuna in chapter 3, 4, 5, that Ishwar arpitam na ichhaya krutam. Now you give up your desires and you do action for pleasing Bhagavan. There is a growth of that mind. The ignorant person now says God has created. Now, since he has created and he's preserving me. But I have to hold on to my end of the bargain. I have to live the life of dharma and I have to do proper actions. And if I do that, then he is the karma phala data. He bestows upon us proper fruits. And I will earn merits. And the merits that I will earn are so many. I will have things taken care of, things over here. Like Bhagavan says, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. I will take care of all the details of life. Then he is mentally secured in this understanding, Bhagavan's going to take care of everything. Now, he also feels that Bhagavan's going to take care of it. Why am I going to worry? So he gives up his worries and anxieties. And that mind becomes peaceful. And that peaceful mind, which has lived the life of dharma, doing actions properly, this is called chitta shuddhi, purity of mind and intellect. Now, next time this person goes to the temple to hear a pravachan from a Swamiji or someone, his understanding of God is very different. Now he will get more out of the pravachan and he will worship Bhagavan. Mind has become quiet. Now, instead of worshipping Bhagavan with karma yoga, he has moved into a new phase which is called upasana. What is upasana? He reorients his life to accommodate God in worship, and that worship turns into meditation. Now he closes his eyes and meditates on Bhagavan. And the meditation of Bhagavan, the mind becomes quiet, 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 quiet. Now he's ready for higher learning. And this higher learning now is this Upanishad, where now the same Upanishad, other Upanishads were, when they were saying that Bhagavan has created, Bhagavan is sustaining, Bhagavan is destroying. Now the Upanishad says Bhagavan has never created. In fact, there is no such thing as creation. In fact, there is no such thing as karma. In fact, there is no such thing as a destiny. Because now, knowledge. You have to know God in understanding. Earlier, when we look at the world appears and there is an experience of this world. With this knowledge, when we look at it, we look at this world as illusion, Maya. It is my ignorance that doesn't allow me to see the existence upon which the world is temporarily dancing. This is what this Upanishad is saying. Now, this Upanishad comes and negates everything which has been said up to now about karma, about jiva, about destiny, about prarabdha, about. So please don't confuse yourselves. And even after this pravachan is over, don't think that I am free, I don't have to do anything, there is no destiny, there is no prarabdha. Please don't think like that. This Mandukya Pravachan is for us to understand the highest principle of truth. But when I come back to the appearance of this world and the experience of this world, apply yourself accordingly. Live a life of dharma, live a life of karma yoga, live a life of appreciation, live a life of prayers as well. All this has to continue. Just because Upanishad comes and says that there is no such thing as the creation of a jiva, because this is in knowledge. Until we completely abide in knowledge, we have to continue karma yoga and we have to continue upasana. And in the continuation of karma and upasana, we will be better equipped to abide in knowledge. This is where this Upanishad is heading. I had to give this background because I got some questions about it. I will end my talk over here. Again, apologies for this these technical difficulties. Tomorrow onwards, I will just sit over here close to the router. I will rearrange this area, sit over here. And we will have our Bhagavad Gita tomorrow evening, and we will have Mandukya Upanishad on Thursday. And in Thursday, I won't do all the review. I will go on because it is necessary to move on. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.